In the dry states of the Southwest, there's a group that's been denied a basic human right.
In the Navajo Nation today, a third of our households don't have running water.
But that's not something they chose for themselves. Can the Navajo people reclaim their right to water and contend with the government's legacy of control and neglect?
Our water, our future, our water, our future.
That's in the next season of Reclaimed, the lifeblood of Navajo Nation. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Tom Homan and I headed to the Arizona border to find out what he has planned to protect our nation. You said that this got to the point that it actually broke you.
19 dead people at my feet who baked to death. All the ones that died are in their underwear trying to get some relief from the heat. A 5-year-old little boy wearing Batman underwear, same underwear my son had, my 5-year-old son. That incident back in the tractor trailer, that changed me forever. I'm a tough guy, but I had to get help. This isn't about being a badass. This is about saving lives.
Tonight, we're discussing a pivotal moment in American politics. Donald Trump's recent election victory, which many attribute to his steadfast promises to tackle the pressing issue of border security. He resonated with many voters who feel that immigration has spiraled out of control. Promises of mass deportations and the completion of the border wall echoed through his speeches, capturing the attention of those who believe that strong measures are necessary to safeguard our communities. Trump's proposed policies include deploying military resources to the southern border and reinstating strict measures like the Remain in Mexico policy, which requires asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their claims are processed. And the guy who is going to implement these promises is Tom Homan. As the former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Tom has dedicated his career to law enforcement and border security. Last night, I sat down with the newly appointed border czar to discuss how he plans on executing President Trump's ambitious changes.
Large deportations. We're going to get these people out.
Day one, we're going to be looking for these public safety threats, arresting them, detaining them, and deporting them. And if these sanctuary city mayors don't want to help, then get the hell out of the way, because we're coming. We're doing it.
Out of 49 million immigrants in the U.S., around 13 million are unauthorized.
You recommended family separation.
I recommend a zero tolerance. I've seen so many tragedies in my lifetime. I stood in back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead aliens at my feet, including a 5-year-old little boy.
Venezuela, mamá. Venezuela? ¿Sí? ¿Qué tantos años tienes? ¿Dos años?
Thank God she's alive. I wake up every day pissed off with what this administration did to the most secure border in my lifetime. But thankfully, we got President Trump coming back, and we're going to secure the border once again and save lives. And it all can be prevented if we secure the borders.
The situation at the Arizona-Mexico border resembles a leaky faucet that has escalated into a significant flood. With 378 miles of border divided into the Tucson and Yuma sectors, Arizona has become a focal point for illegal crossings. And let's address the issue of gotaways, individuals who evade Border Patrol detection. In fiscal year 2023, Arizona recorded over 775,000 illegal border crossings, with at least 200,000 classified as gotaways. This represents a substantial number of individuals entering the country without being apprehended. Tom and I headed to Cochise County, Arizona, where we met up with Sheriff Mark Daniels, who wanted to show Tom how Arizona has been handling this border crisis.
Sheriff. Tom. Dr. Phil, how are you?
Good to see you. How's everything?
Good seeing you guys.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you're back here, man.
I want to start here. I think it's so important before we enter this building. This is our Border Operations Center. The border is dedicated to these fine professionals, both served in the Marine Corps. Chris is my deputy on the left, and you can see the story there.
This is your deputy here?
Yes, Dr. Phil. He's on my interdiction team for border crimes. He can tell you a story. We didn't think he was going to make it, Dr. Phil. That's how bad this was. His brother, Josh, who works for the United States Border Patrol, former Marine also, was up in these mountains right behind us over here. attacked by 2 migrants. They tried to get his gun. 1 round went off. The gun misfired. They took his knife and cut his throat. He fought him for 7 to 8 minutes before backup got there. And this is why we dedicated this building in honor of the law enforcement, men and women. They both served their country. Now they're serving their communities for us here. And that's the kind of people that work in this center.
2 American heroes right there.
Exactly.
Were these 2 migrants that he confronted in the mountains up there, were they apprehended?
They were apprehended. One, I don't believe, was charged. If he did it, he got no jail time. The other one got 7 years. 7 years trying to kill a federal agent? Are you kidding me? That's unheard of.
That's offensive.
It's an insult for what we're trying to do on this border. That's the way it's been for almost 4 years here.
I can tell you, January 20th is going to change. You're going to get a partnership that you've never seen before. We're going to be hip to hip, and we got your 6 like you had ours. So things are about to change in a big way.
Thank you, Tom, for that message, because that message has to be, that message is prevention in itself. I've said that. And Dr. Phil, thank you for airing this, because most people don't understand the reality of what's going on. I want to frame this reality.
We got to tell this story.
We do, Tom.
Well, and we're committed to telling it. And the story that's been told is not really reflecting the attitude of the American people. And we're going to tell that story, and the American people are behind you. Don't get the idea. I don't want any of these agents, any of the men and women wearing this uniform to get the attitude that what you've seen in the media reflects the attitude of the American people, because it does not.
Thank you.
And we're going to get the story, the real story out, and there's going to be transparency in this.
You and I are going to start partnering today. I'm already partnering with Texas Governor Abbott. We're not waiting to January 20th. This is too important.
And I commit to you, and you're going to commit on behalf of the law enforcement here. We're committed back. We're protecting lives every day, and we're changing lives every day. And when I say changing lives, and the fact that we're trying to stop and prevent and educate, but also hold people accountable for those breaking the law. And it'll be my privilege at this time to introduce you to the Oletski brothers. Come on up, gentlemen. Chris Oletski,
Sir.
Joshua Oletski,
What
Dr.
class?
Phil.
What class?
869, sir.
167.
Oh,
sir.
Sir, Deputy Chris Oletski.
Honor to meet you,
Honor
sir.
to
You
meet
guys are both American heroes in my book. I appreciate your service.
Dr. Phil, if I can get the privilege, can you each spend just a minute or two explaining what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. January, about a little less than 3 years ago, I was involved in a use of force incident where I found myself in a fight for my life. I fought for my weapon, I fought for my well-being, and that was both against a UDA who was willing to try to remove my weapon from my possession and use it against me. And then when he couldn't do that, he ended up using a knife and trying to take my life that way. Real super simple. I fought and I won. I won the day.
God bless him.
And this was in the mountains up here?
Yes, sir, it was.
You were by yourself?
I was.
And there were 2 of them?
I was effecting an arrest on one individual, and the other individual came down the mountain and basically bowled me over, and it was a fight after that.
See, that's not what people, American people don't understand. These border patrol, I was a border patrol agent. I know what it's like standing on that line. Sometimes your nearest backup is miles away. These men and women, when you and I are sleeping at night, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, sensor goes off, these men and women are standing on a dirt trail in the middle of nowhere, backup miles away. And they don't know what's coming down that trail. Is it just a illegal alien looking for a job, or is it a heavily armed drug smuggler? They don't know, but they're standing ready to take it on. These are real American heroes, finest 1% this country has, in my opinion.
You know, sir, and that's exactly what happened. And it was about that time frame in the morning. You go up in the mountains, it's dark, and you do what you got to do.
And you're doing that at the same time most Americans are sleeping, especially the politicians on the left-hand side who want to vilify the men and women of the Border Patrol. You guys are on the line 24/7, putting lives on the line. And that's why this country's angry, because the left, the people that want to vilify you, vilify the Horse Patrol, vilify the men and women of law enforcement, they need to understand what you guys do every day for this nation, putting your lives on the line. I salute you, man. Again, I consider you an American hero, and I'm honored to even meet you two. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the day.
Well, I echo that as well, and that's why I told you we're telling this story. We're going to tell the real story, because the real story has not been told, and it's going to be told, and we're committed to that. We're going to bring the transparency and get this story told. And you've had your life on the line in this as well.
Yes, sir. So in September of last year or so, I was throwing spikes in the road to stop a very common pursuit, which we know all too well here inside of Cochise County, and has taken the lives of some of our citizens here in Cochise County. That vehicle had already fled from a Border Patrol agent in a vehicle pursuit earlier that evening. Shortly after that initial pursuit, that vehicle, an additional traffic stop was attempted in which it fled from one of our deputies. Knowing that that vehicle was heading towards the town of Tombstone, which is a tourist town here in Cochise County, and at near triple-digit speeds, I made a decision to throw spikes. In doing so and removing those spikes out of the roadway so the pursuit can continue and we could catch that suspect, I sustained really life-threatening injuries.
Yeah, you fell down a hill, right?
I fell off a bridge approximately 17 feet or so. I broke my left femur, the right side of my pelvis, my right elbow, and my left wrist. And subsequently, as a result of those injuries and then complications of that, I had 6 strokes.
How long were you on the ground before you got some medical help?
Poor sleep affects more than just energy. It impacts focus, mood, and overall health. If you've struggled with falling asleep or staying asleep or found other sleep aids ineffective, Beam's Dream Powder could be your solution. Dream Powder is a healthy, science-backed hot cocoa for better sleep made with natural ingredients like reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up refreshed. Unlike other sleep aids, Dream doesn't cause next-day grogginess. It's delicious, guilt-free, and available in flavors like sea salt caramel, brownie batter, and cinnamon cocoa with just 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar per serving. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Dr. Phil and use code Dr. Phil at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Dr. Phil and use code Dr. Phil for up to 40% off. Christmas is the perfect time to share the gift of comfort and luxury with your loved ones. Cozy Earth makes it easy with their bamboo sheet set, a true holiday favorite. These sheets are ultra soft, breathable, and guaranteed not to pill for 10 years, ensuring restful nights and serene escapes every day. Cozy Earth Stretch Knit Bamboo Pajama Sets for men and women are another can't-miss gift this season. They're perfect for unwinding at home, offering unmatched comfort and style for those treasured moments of relaxation. Cozy Earth is all about transforming your space into a sanctuary of tranquility. Their responsibly made temperature-regulating, durable fabrics make every product a thoughtful investment in comfort. Order by December 13th for free shipping or by December 20 with expedited delivery. Head to cozyearth.com/Phil and use code Phil for up to 40% off. Give the gift of luxury this holiday season.
If the Trump administration has a border czar, I would like to see him actually show up to the border. I feel like we have people who have the titles and the position to make these decisions, but they're not showing up. I would like to see the border czar take action and actually be there. Otherwise, why does he have the position?
In these past years, Americans have heard a lot of talk about border control, but have not seen enough action. So I decided to take action and bring the incoming president's new border czar, Tom Homan, to the Arizona border to find out what he has planned and to meet with some of the many men and women who work tirelessly to protect us. You've had your life on the line in this as well.
Yes, sir. So in September of last year or so, I was throwing spikes in the road to stop a pursuit. I sustained really life-threatening injuries.
How long were you on the ground before you got some medical help?
I don't know. Everything kind of after that initial fall is pretty much a blur. And for about the next 10 days or so, I was in what I refer to as the darkness.
And you know, sir, it was actually a Border Patrol agent that got to him first. It was a guy that I personally know. He's on my shift.
That's what's amazing down here.
I was super thankful that it was one of my guys that showed up.
And I would say, and I'm going to throw some credit out to the NBC News crew that was out with us, because that Border Patrol likely would not have known that I got hurt if I did not have a news crew with me that evening, and was able to flag down a Border Patrol that was going up to join the pursuit and effect the arrest on that individual. So when they flagged him down, it was a Border Patrol agent who was first on scene and responded to that.
Thank God they found you.
Which is one of the many reasons this partnership between local law enforcement and federal law enforcement is so important.
God bless both of you for doing what you do.
And sir, could I say something? While our name is on this building right now, Josh and I are not naive to the fact that that name is just a representation of all uniformed people. It is a representation of the risks that we all face, and which is a common occurrence out here on the southern border.
We hear you. We're going to make sure that this story gets told. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you both.
Thanks,
Dr. Phil?
Good to meet you.
Dr. Phil.
Proud to meet both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service. Thanks for what you're continuing to do. You guys are what it's all about.
Come on in, guys. Thank you, guys. Come on in, John.
Big man.
There we go.
Hold on.
On. I'm here to Dr. Phil and new Border Czar Tom Homan. This is my team of camera folks that watch the cameras 24/7. This is the only place in the country I know that does this. And this is in partner with the Arizona Sheriffs and National Sheriffs, Western State and Southwest Border Sheriffs.
So how's this work? So if you get something right now, you see 6 guys carrying backpacks, what happens?
It'll pop up on the screen. The AI is recognized as a human. That's where the red comes from. You look on the bottom, it'll show the dates, the times. We're seeing. I'll look at
when that happens, what do you do? I mean, how do you deploy to that?
So once we get a hit and it's confirmed like that, then we notify the respective jurisdiction. We've seen childs in the back of smugglers. We deploy our own border team. If it's weapons, we deploy all law enforcement. If we see a community public threat, or if we think it's drugs. This is all AI driven, our system. So we have 1,200 cameras.
So these are hidden inside the terrain, like they look like rocks or something?
Yes. We go everywhere Border Patrol doesn't go. There is no federal dollars in this camera room, this building, this system. This is all state money and private money that supports this whole program.
I think what people also don't understand, and I explained to Dr. Phil yesterday, not only is this like apprehensions, but some of these people you find are in bad shape, so we're saving lives with this system.
That's right. That's what we're saying. We're protecting people with this. We see humanitarian issue, we respond to. We got a helicopter. We'll go in there and do what we can. We need to help somebody. We're right there, and you can see them popping across. We're developing new AI that helps us develop if a backpack looks like it would have drugs in it versus a can of food. So we're in the process of doing that thing.
This is forward-leaning.
It truly is.
Yeah. Now these cameras, they're all identified. So when you look at like 2 from the right and down 3, you know where that camera is. So when you tell somebody we've got activity there, you can tell them geographically where that is.
100%. We have all the locations where they're at. Like these cameras here up on the right here, that's actually New Mexico. That's over in New Mexico right now. You guys are one of the first press ever to be in this room. We don't want the press to usually come in here because we don't want people to see this. We built our own repeater set. We have like 600 repeaters that run this whole system.
Wow.
So if you commit border crimes in Cochise County, I mean, it's not the smartest thing to do.
So what do you need my help with?
I've done this 40 years, the public safety, national security, and the humanitarian side of this. We want to be a partner. I've said that for 4 years. I've been neglected for 4 years. I'm glad you're back because we have a lot of operational. We want to plan with you for the future.
Well, the good thing, I think you got a president that's coming in. It wants to take federal money away from sanctuary cities. We're fighting what we're trying to do and hopefully divert that money to counties like you, was actually helping secure the border and save lives. So that's something I'm going to personally work on.
It's energizing to know that we have an administration, we have you, and we have Dr. Phil that's framing the reality of this to get back in there with us and help us. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. I've been talking to Dr. Phil. He has a huge reach through social media, his numerous platforms. He's going to tell the story. We're going to be very transparent in what we're doing. And I think the American people will be behind us 100% once they see the facts of what's actually happening.
Hasn't been easy.
Tucson Sector Border Patrol reports arresting an undocumented immigrant after he illegally re-entered the country near Casa Grande. Now, this is a picture of Gilberto Garcia posted today on Border Patrol's X account. Border Patrol says Garcia is now charged with illegal re-entry after being arrested last Tuesday. He was previously convicted of sexual crimes against children in 2018 before being deported back to Mexico.
Arizona has become a hotspot for illegal crossings, and that's because of the massive expanse of land that makes it easy to get away. Cochise County is 6,219 square miles of rugged terrain. They share 84 miles of border with Mexico. Sheriff Mark Lamb patrols the I-10 freeway from Tucson to Phoenix. It's an area infamously known as Smuggler's Highway. His job is to stop the illegal transportation of drugs and humans from Mexico into the United States through Arizona. He joined Tom, Sheriff Daniels, and I to discuss how frustrated he's been for the past 4 years. What's it mean to you guys to have this gentleman back in the saddle and heading up border activities?
Well, as an American and as a sheriff, it means the world of difference. You know, not only is Tom a proven leader, but he's a cop, and he understands the work that's being done. You know, today we've had more interaction with somebody from the federal government than we've had in 4 years. So this is nice to actually get the seat back at the table. Tom is a proven guy, and to us, it gets just a weight off of all of our chests.
His message has never changed. He doesn't have a political message out there, Dr. Phil. He has a message of reality. Is the fact that I've worked with him for many years, and he's never changed who he is, what he stands for, and that's the American people, the American dream, and making sure that we're protected.
And Tom, we're talking about you like you're not here, but you are here. You don't have to be here today, but you are here today. Why?
Because I care. I mean, I've been doing this job, like the gentleman said. I started as a police officer in New York in 1983. I mean, I'm an old guy, and I was a Border Patrol agent. I wore that uniform. I know what it's like to be that Border Patrol agent. I was an ICE agent. I was the first ICE director that actually came up through the ranks. So the 20,000 men and women that worked for me, I didn't ask them to do anything I didn't do because I was one of them. And I care because out of the 34 years I spent in immigration enforcement, I've seen a lot of tragedies. I've seen a lot of dead people. I've seen a lot of children who suffered. I've seen dead children. I've talked to little girls as young as 9 that were raped multiple times by the criminal cartel as part of the passage. It changed me forever. And at one point, it broke me. It broke my heart. So when I worked with President Trump, we succeeded in having the most secure border of my lifetime. And now I wake up every day pissed off because we got an administration who came in and unsecured the most secure border on purpose. Not by accident, not by mismanagement, but by design. And when they did that, I knew exactly what's going to happen. More children would die, more women would be sexually assaulted, more known suspected terrorist threats are going to get into the country, more sex trafficking is going to happen, more death overall. And it has happened under Joe Biden's administration. We got a record number of aliens dying across the border, a historic number, almost 4,000. We got 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl coming across the border, 600% increase in sex trafficking of women and children. They've lost track of 300,000 children that were smoking in this country and they released. I guarantee you many of them are living with pedophiles and enforced labor. Now I'm honored that President Trump asked me to come back for the second time from retirement to do this job and work with patriots like this who've been fighting the front line under numerous administrations, and they bear the brunt on the last 4 years of doing this on their own. They've been abandoned by this administration. Well, guess what? President Trump's got their 6, I got their 6, and they got my 6. And that's a beautiful thing to say in the world of law enforcement where you got each other's 6.
One of your key values is a secure border saves lives. What do you mean by that?
President Trump had illegal immigration down to a 45-year low. Illegal immigration was down 83 to 90%, depending what time frame you looked at. There's been numerous studies done that 31% of women that make that journey through youth cartels be sexually assaulted. 31% of women admitted it. So what is that number really, right?
Way underreported.
So when 90% less people are coming, how many women weren't being raped? How many children didn't drown in that river? How many Americans didn't die from fentanyl? Because when immigration is down 90%, Border Patrol is 100% on the line and vigilant. But under this administration, they overwhelmed with millions of people coming across the border where the majority of Border Patrol agents, not some, a majority of Border Patrol agents were pulled off their duties on the border, national security duties, to make sandwiches, change diapers, make baby formula, make hospital runs, make bus runs, and process this humanitarian crisis. At the same time they're doing it, the cartels took advantage. They created gaps. They send these groups to one area knowing Border Patrol's going to seize on that opportunity. Then they create gaps in the system. That's when they move the fentanyl. That's when they move the bad guys. That's when they move the 2.2 million that don't want to be caught, right? So having a secure border saves lives just because less people are coming, less people in harm's way.
I'm really curious about something. I think words are powerful. And I'm wondering if we really have an open border now, or if we have a border that the cartel has put a turnstile up on. Is this really an open border, or is it one that is controlled by the cartel? Are they the ones that are running the American-Mexico border? In times of uncertainty, stemming from economic volatility, political shifts, and global events, it's crucial to work together and unite as a country for a brighter future. Amid these challenges, it's important to take proactive steps to monitor and protect your finances and retirement accounts. That's why I'm turning to physical gold and silver to help protect my accounts, and you should too. Gold and silver prices reached record highs this year, and central banks are buying gold like never before. So get started today with Preserve Gold, the only precious metals company I trust and recommend. They have hundreds of five-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions. Preserve Gold is giving away a free precious metals guide with information on how to help protect your accounts. Just text Dr. Phil to 50505, and you can get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase. So don't wait. Text Dr. Phil to 50505 to claim this exclusive offer from Preserve Gold today.
Right now, we are tracking this caravan. 1,500 migrants are on foot heading for the U.S.-Mexico border.
Migrants say they are anticipating stricter immigration policies under an incoming Trump administration and say they are desperate to cross now.
We want to be on the other side before the new president of the United States takes office, as he seems quite harsh on immigrants.
We're going to have to seal up those borders if they have to come in legally.
As News Nation reporter Jorge Ventura just revealed, a huge caravan of migrants are attempting to enter the U.S. before President Trump can take office. But what can officials in our border states of Texas and Arizona do about it? I spoke to some high-level officials to find out. Is this really an open border, or is it one that is controlled by the cartel? Are they the ones that are running the American-Mexico border?
Well, the open border calls the cartels to take control. The criminal cartels in Mexico control our southern border. They decide what comes in, who comes in, and where it comes in, and when it comes in. You talk to any border patrol chief, and I've talked to most of them, they'll tell you they've lost operational strategic control of the border. One chief patrol agent used the term when there's heat in the moment, when the numbers were 10,000 days, he says, Tom, this is broken arrow. Because I can't contain what's coming across. I'm not going to get 10%. But the cartels, and they demonstrate it every day. You know, you think 100 family groups, 200 family groups show up at the same place at the same time by coincidence? No, the cartels will send a large group like that to overwhelm the border patrol, and they create gaps, operational gaps. The border patrol can come from other areas to deal with that humanitarian crisis, and that's when they move the fentanyl, that's when they move the gang members, and that's when they move the people that don't want to get vetted. You look at the numbers, 2.2 million people, known gotaways that we captured on video, drone traffic, or sensor traffic. Why did 2.2 million people pay more to get away? Why didn't they pay less to get released in 24 hours, get a free airline ticket to the city of their choice, get a free hotel room, nice hotel room, by the way, 3 meals a day, free medical care, and get work authorization within 4 months? Why would you not take advantage of that giveaway program at a lower cost? Why you paid more to get away? Because they don't want to be vetted, they don't want to be fingerprinted, and that's just scared the hell out of all of us. Border patrols under Biden has arrested people from 181 different countries. That's almost every country in the world. Some of these countries are sponsors of terror. They've arrested 300 people on terrorist watch lists just on the border under these 4 years. How many of that 2.2 came from a country sponsoring terror? If you think it's zero, you're a moron. So me and Crystal Ray agree on one thing. This is the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever seen. Something's coming. And when that something's coming, I want President Trump to be in the White House, not what we currently have.
So these are terrorist groups, and they're going to have to be dealt with accordingly.
Absolutely, terrorist groups.
And they're not just terrorist groups on the southern end. Because of the policies of this administration over the last 4 years, they have grown globally. Our inability to secure our southern border has not just affected America. It's affected it globally because now they're in 54 different countries, selling drugs all over the world because of the power that they were able to gain at our southern border.
And what you just said, they're in numerous countries across the globe, which is another reason they need to be declared terrorist organizations. We can attack it from a multi-country facet.
Right. You guys agree with this? What's your take? How do you react to what he's saying?
We're losing over 100,000 Americans a year to fentanyl. And the ones that don't die, these families are being crushed by the effects of fentanyl in their homes and in their families and in their communities. You talk about the people that are being abused by the cartels. Tom just mentioned them. You talk about the children that are being lost and used as pawns, the women that are being raped, the people that are being left for dead in the desert. We, the sheriffs, are the ones that go pick those people up in conjunction with our partners at Border Patrol. We're out there using our helicopters, our resources to pick people up that should have never have been in the desert on a 120-degree day. They should have never been there because we should have done our job in the first place. But they're being taken advantage of by bad policies and criminal organizations that have zero care for human life.
Dr. Phil, the number one responsibility of being an elected official, from the president all the way down to a mayor, a sheriff, a community leader, a national leader, anybody that wears a badge, is quality of life. That's what we do every day, is to go out and sustain that quality of life that people expect. And they're blind to a lot of things we do every day. And for somebody to turn a blind eye to that, or somebody takes an oath of office to say, I'm going to protect your quality of life and protect the rule of law in this country, but turn their back on it, that's gross negligence. If I did that, I promise you, I'd either be prosecuted or I'd be kicked out of office. And that's what's happened here. I truly believe the will of the people said, we've seen enough, we've heard enough, we can't take this no more. And that's why we have the change.
They try to characterize you guys as just not caring about people that are trying to get to a better life. You said that this got to the point that it actually broke you. What do you mean? The newly appointed border czar under President-elect Trump, Tom Homan, and I headed to Cochise County, Arizona to meet with Sheriff Mark Daniels and Sheriff Mark Lamb, two dedicated leaders on the front lines of the Arizona-Mexico border. With 378 miles of border to patrol, Arizona has become a focal point for illegal crossings, and the situation is escalating. I wanted to hear how Tom and his team plan on de-escalating this national security crisis in Arizona. You know, they try to characterize you guys as just not caring about people that are trying to get to a better life. You said that this got to the point that it actually broke you. What do you mean?
I grew up in a small town upstate New York. You know, you grew up in a small town where everybody's milking cows, right? And if you fast forward, I'm standing back with a trailer, 19 dead people at my feet who baked to death. Baked to death. All the ones that died are in their underwear trying to get some relief from the heat. Steel box, black, no lights, no air, no water. And when I went to that crime scene and I keyed on a 5-year-old little boy wearing Batman underwear, same underwear my son had, my 5-year-old son. And you think about the tragedy of that life being lost. You think about what that little boy went through, how he suffered. No one should suffer like that. And it broke me because I know it can be fixed. I know it can be prevented. When you have a secure border and people aren't making that journey, they're not dying. Think about the little girl, whether it's, you know, the numerous ones that died, you know, Lake and Riley. That little girl fought for 18 minutes. She didn't want to die. She's fighting for every breath. She tried to call 911, and that got stopped. This little girl panicked in terror, fighting for every minute of her life. Killed by someone that's not supposed to be here. And I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Now, that incident back in the tractor trailer, that changed me forever. And I'm a tough guy, but I had to get help. I mean, you know, it's when you deal with so much tragedy, it wears on you. People want to know why I'm so emotional, why I'm so hardcore in this, because I'm sick and tired of burying children and having women being raped. And I'm sick and tired of talking to angel moms and dads whose children were murdered by someone that's not supposed to be here. I'm sick and tired of all the fentanyl deaths and all these parents that have suffered loss of their child. Everybody wants to beat us up on Trump's family separation. No one wants to talk about the separation that occurs 1,000 times more by a parent burying their child. That's separation. This isn't about being a badass. This isn't about being the border god or anything I've read on the paper. This is about saving lives. Every Border Patrol agent that wears that uniform, they're a mom and dad too. They don't hang their heart on a hook when they go to work. They save thousands of lives every year. These men save thousands of lives every year. And I'm tired of the chaos and the death. And I'm gonna do everything I can to fix it, because it's the right thing to do for this country, the right thing to do for the men and women who put a Kevlar vest on every day, put a gun on their hip to do the job that Americans want them to do.
And how much money do you guys spend in ICE detention centers, for example, on health and treatment and care for these people when they are in detention?
When I was ICE director, we spent nearly $1 billion on health care. And here's what, and the left media attacks ICE detention facilities all the time. I dare any facility, any state or federal local facility to compare their detention standards to ICE detention standards. Anybody go to ice.gov, look up PBNDS 11, performance-based detention standards. I think most taxpayers would be pissed off on how much money we spend on detention standards. Matter of fact, there are sheriffs across the country that backed out of our contracts because they could not afford those detention standards. These people are well taken care of, but they want to talk the deaths in custody when we have people in custody that die, whether it's a heart attack or something that's unexpected. Our deaths in custody are a fraction of every other facility in the country, but they'll earmark, well, ICE lost 14 people in custody this year, died in custody.
Better than they'll get almost anywhere else.
ICE facilities, sometimes the first vaccinations children get. Sometimes it's the first time they've ever seen a doctor. Matter of fact, the medical professionals at ICE, they save thousands of lives because they'll find something that the alien didn't even wear head.
We have to work together. If we're going to protect children, if we're going to protect people, we have to work together. And that's why I stand with President Trump. Our borders are, and I'm glad you accept that title.
How can you not listen to him and realize this is the right guy for the job?
Yes.
You can feel the emotion that he brings. You can feel the balance that we are often called to bring to a situation, the balance of law and order and humanity. And I mean, how do you not listen to this interview and say, this is the right guy for the job?
As it appears clear Donald Trump will once again become president, there are mixed reactions among border residents.
I'm worried that what's going to happen is going to really hurt this community.
Ranchers like Fred Davis tell me how the Trump years were some of the best years along the border.
It was the lowest invasion rate we've seen in probably 30 years.
Both sides do seem to agree they expect quick actions.
Tonight, we focus on the Arizona border, which has become a critical area for illegal crossings and national security concerns. John, your land has been in your family for 129 years.
Yes, sir.
And how big is your property?
We have about 16,000 acres.
16,000 acres. And you said in the time that y'all have had this property over, say, the last 30 years, how many illegal immigrants have come across your property?
Border Patrol's got 500,000.
500,000 people. What do you say to that when you hear somebody that's just down there working the land and they've had 500,000 of these illegal immigrants come across their property?
I like to say it shocks me, but it doesn't. I mean, this is, the southwest border is a gateway for the whole world to get into the United States. That's why it's so important to secure it. I mean, how would anybody feel, any people watching this show, people just walking through their property every day? And I'm sure creating some damage when they do it. And I'm not shocked anymore. I mean, I've been doing this for 34 years. It doesn't shock me at all. However, when we secure the border, that helps him and helps him preserve his property and makes it safe for him. I mean, with 500,000 people crossing your property, do you let your children go out and play? I mean, do you feel comfortable in your bed at night? I mean, you got it. I'm sure you are taking care of your Second Amendment rights, right?
Absolutely. Sure. Sleep with our dogs, too.
Do they impact the land? You've got cattle?
Yeah, we raise beef cattle. The biggest thing is they cut fences to make it easier. Instead of climbing through the fence, they just cut it. Chase cattle when they're walking north to get to the highway. I lose 10,000 gallons of water overnight, probably every other week. When they break off a water float to get a drink, leave it running. I put hose bibs up for them 20 years ago, and they just leave them running. Cattle getting out on the highway, then I'm liable for somebody hitting them with their car. We've had everything stolen from tools to vehicles. Since Donald Trump got reelected, they quit coming to the house. He made the biggest impact on any of this his first term. It darn near stopped with his 4 years, and then Biden got in, and overnight we had 5 groups at the house.
Really?
Yeah. It's every day we're putting up with that.
Are they trying to get in? Do they steal things? What do they do?
It's both, but most of the time they're wanting me to call for help or want water or want food. We always feed them, but when you get a group of more than 30, you quit feeding them, because what do you feed them? We've had 18 dead people on the ranch. The last one, my grandkid, he said, Grandpa, I smell something dead and it isn't a cow. He's an 8-year-old, so. Yeah, that's what we put up with. And it's just the privacy deal. These people have no respect for anything in the U.S. They climb the wall. We've got Trump's wall. And they climb that wall, and they still claim they don't know where they're at.
There's two sides to the wall. You come down the other side, you know you're in the United States, at least.
Well, I think the scary thing has got to be, a large portion of them are coming for a better life. We get that. I'm sure some aren't good guys. They're bad guys. They're packing dope. They're muling dope.
Absolutely. That's what we have down here. We don't have any asylum seekers. It's all military-age men. They don't want to get caught. We can't go anywhere without somebody being at the ranch. That's been that way for 30 years.
So this costs you money, costs you peace of mind.
But we're used to it. That's a problem that people, when we talk to them, and aren't you scared? Well, we're not scared, but we're used to it.
Yeah. But you shouldn't have to be used to that. That's the problem. You said 10,000 gallons of water?
Got 4 of them that are 10,000 gallons, and it takes me 4 days to pump them back up. But when it runs out overnight. So then, you got a couple of 100 head of cows without water. What do you do?
You feeling a little better now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so happy you got it, and I'm so happy Donald Trump won. It's just, there's hope.
Well, be a night and day.
Yeah, help is coming. Thank you for sharing about what's going on, because people need to know. This visit to the Arizona border with Tom Homan was about more than just politics. It was a chance to meet some of the dedicated men and women on the front lines of border security who work tirelessly to protect our nation. As we walked along the border and the unfinished wall, we saw firsthand the challenges these brave individuals face every day.
Thank you guys for being here, and I'll just say on behalf of all the law enforcement on the southwest border and beyond, we're looking forward to see some improvements on this. If you look back at the top of the hill, President Trump was taking that wall up and over that hill. You can see the serpentine going up and through there on the side to get the trucks up there. When President Biden took over, he froze that in time, declaring the southwest border a non-emergency. So you saw all the scrap metal that was supposed to be up here. That's all been sitting just rotting away. And again, we're looking for a lot of partnerships in the next 4 years. And we thank you for sharing our reality. And number 2, for being a partner with us, for our Border Patrol CBP folks, sheriffs, police departments in our state. So thank you so much to both of you for being here today.
Well, we're just here to document it. This is the action figure right here.
And what people need to understand is that Trinidad, Iowa, they're on notice because my gang's bigger than their gang.
That's true.
We got Border Patrol, we got ICE, we got local law enforcement, we got state law enforcement. So we're all going to join in partnership and we'll make this country safer.
Let's go. I love it.
The men and women we met are committed to their mission, and it's vital that we support them in their efforts. Thank you and everyone working tirelessly on the front lines. Your dedication does not go unnoticed. I want to give special thanks to Tom Homan, Sheriffs Mark Daniels and Mark Lamb for joining us at the border.
You can have it all. Great pay, awesome benefits, a flexible schedule, the chance to grow. At Cox, we're recruiting auto and diesel technicians to join our Mannheim and Fleet Services teams. If you're ready for a new job and want to experience an award-winning workplace, drive your career forward with us. Visit cox.career/autotech to learn more. That's cox.career/autotech.
The most wonderful time of the year. Although, let's be honest, around the holidays, things really add up. But here's the good news. Only at Verizon, you can get a single line for $50 per month when you switch and bring your phone. So while ice skating for 2 is definitely costing more, here at Verizon, you can save. Gifts for your third cousins? Steep. A single line with Verizon? Not so steep. A real tree? Pricey. A single line with Verizon? Less pricey. Flights to see Mima and Pops? Those are up. A $50 per month single line? That's down. Even a trip to the Atlanta Holiday Market will cost you more. But with Verizon, you can switch and bring your phone for just $50 per month for a single line on unlimited welcome with autopay plus taxes and fees. All this to say, during the holiday season, when everything is costing more, you can get more for less right now at a local Verizon store. $15 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G, 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.